Hello, hello, everyone. Just let me just tell everybody that we are live. Okay, let's give a few more moments to everybody. Hello, hello, welcome everybody. Hi, Jan. Hi, Thomas. I hope the third Jan is going to join us at any moment. And then we'll get started. If you have any questions or want to join into the discussion, feel free to use the Zoom feature to raise your hand, and I will do my best to spot it and allow you to start talking. Okay, I'm seeing there should be at least one more, no, 3 more people joining us in, so hopefully soon they will be able, or at least I will be able to see them. I don't see them now, so. In the meantime, please let me know if you're hearing me fine or there are like any issues trying a new setup. Okay, looks like we have somebody with some issues to connect. In the meantime, how is everybody doing? Free to use the chat on the page. I'm monitoring that as well. Welcome, Andreas. So Thomas and everyone, this is like not a normal Zoom. This is what's called like a panel. So only the panelists are allowed to speak. So if you want to speak, use the feature to raise your hand, and then I need to specifically enable you to be able to join us as a speaker. And I'm still waiting for Jan Kuster to join us. Looks like he is running a bit late, so let's give him a few more minutes and then we'll start. Okay, so looks like hopefully, how are you doing, Andreas, today? Sorry to hear, Jan, that you got a cold. So far, I managed to evade it. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can force them to get in here. Okay, so test. So this is how I've added Andreas, allow him to speak. So Andreas, welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. The chat is disabled. Is that on purpose or is it just an overlook?
No, that's the chat in the Zoom app is only for the panelists. The chat for attendees is on the web page. So that's
okay.
That's on purpose, like this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I am not sure what's holding up Jan. Oops, oh, he just went offline. So maybe computer problems or some family circumstances, but I think it's 8 after our starting time. And it's already 10 p.m. where I'm at. So oh, Andrews in Singapore. I'm in Japan, so but I don't plan to go for too long. So let's probably without further ado, let us get started. So hopefully this is not going to kill my computer. Sweet. So this is our first, say, meeting for Meteor Community Packages. That's where we kind of go over what needs to be talked about. Let me just quickly, oops, bring up the Zoom window so I can see any of you guys raise a hand if Jan joins us, because I sadly have only one monitor. So I will have to keep that. And okay, here we go. So the idea of these meetings is that everybody who is interested can come in and we can talk about the different issues that need to be addressed in the Meteor Community Packages or the community as a whole, and at least give an overview of what's going on, what's happening, or devise a plan how to deal with it. So the first item of on our agenda, and also one other thing, these are taken. The agenda is built on the Meteor forums through the month, and we meet every first Friday of the month. So today's our first meeting, and yeah, so that's how we start. Anybody can chime in, join us. It's probably going to be me and Jan Kuster. Hi, Tom. We are going to be moderating it. Maybe we'll be moving it 1 hour later. We shall see, so that also Kelly Copley can join in as well. So still, a lot of experimentation going on here in this. So today, I think all the meetings, the first thing what we'll do is go over organization issues. These are issues that we have under GitHub under Meteor Community Packages organization issues. So, any new packages for inclusion or anything else, that's there. And then we'll take a look on Blaze progress. Hopefully, Jan will be able to catch up with us in the meantime, so we can talk a bit more about the simple schema version 3 issues and how it affects collection to an autoform. And then we have Meteor Desktop, async await migration, which affects a lot of packages, community website, and finally open forum, where we can kind of bring anything else that comes on in. So for everybody else who joined us in the last few moments, welcome. If you want to add anything, use the Zoom feature to raise a hand, and I'll be happy to let you talk. So first things first, let us go over the organizational issues that we have here and how we are progressing on those. First, let's start here, is the package for inclusion, which is the OngoWorks DP login. And we've kind of finished the discussion that we want to fork it. Sadly, we didn't get, I've tried to reach out to the project owners, but there was no response. So we're going to fork it. But I'm kind of looking for somebody to volunteer to be a maintainer, or who would like and wants to go more forward in dealing with this package, because I am totally bought out my time, so I don't have any extra time to really do much beyond the absolute minimum basics. So if anybody wants to volunteer to kind of take on this package and help to maintain it, or add some additional fixes that are coming up, then I'll be happy to start the progress into making a fork for us. If not, then it will have to wait until probably I have a need for it for my own projects, and will be able to devote some company time on it, which might take quite a while. Next one, we have another package for inclusion, the same issue as the previous one, is that we've kind of finished the discussion that this, if anything, this needs to be forked. And now I'm looking for people to, or volunteers, to get it working. Right now my rule is that if we are going to include anything in community packages, there needs to be people who are going to take care of it, because some people, at least that's how it looks to me, and some people got an impression that they can just put in, hey, I want this package to be updated, and somehow magically we are going to, in our free time, which for me right now there's none, work on it for free and maintain it for them, and so we didn't have to invest any time or money. So unless there is investments from either people who are requesting this, or we have people who are willing to make the investment of time into maintaining new packages, then I'm not going to fork it or do any server, because there's no point in that. And finally, we have and sadly Anna is not here to kind of take on it really soon, in regards to the inclusion of simple schema. And let me just do a quick check if we got a response, which We did not, and I don't assume that Jan has gotten on any other contacts. So we'll try with this package specifically to see if we can get it moved, because especially for such a major package like simple schema, it would be much better if we had it under the original namespace. So that's something that we'll have to work on a bit more. And for more of the reasons, we have a dedicated point on that later. So I'm right now going to switch gears a bit. And since we are switching to the next topic, if anybody has something that they want to add or speak about, please let me know, or raise your hands. I'll be happy to allow you to talk. Okay, so the next topic is, or the next two topics are for Blaze, and specifically Blaze 2.6.2 and Blaze 3.0. So if we look at the milestone, Blaze 2.6.2 is a patch release that we are planning. We have already something included, but right now it's just more on the documentation side. And these are the issues that we are working for. The patch release, the add TypeScript types. If nobody takes on, then it will be moved to 3.0, but it might be completely TypeScript chassis. And so Gap, so let me just quickly open this here. So Gabriel Gruba and me, we have kind of taken on this task. So when I talked with Gabriel a few weeks ago, he said he might be able to do it quickly. So if he doesn't, then I might go in and at least do the kind of initial setup for TypeScript types using the Zorin package, so that we have some, at least the absolute minimum of TypeScript types from Blaze itself. So that's one, and then we have two bugs that we would like to get fixed, and that will probably be, let's see, this one was the one. Okay, so this will be probably Jan that's going to be looking more into it, and we'll have another. We have another issue here. So that will be another thing I will be probably tackling with Zorin as well. So those two pretty much once these two are done, irrespective of the TypeScript types, then we will release 2.6.2. Or just one, if one of them is done and the other one doesn't seem to be getting anywhere near completion, then we'll release 2.6.2. So that's kind of the plan for Blaze. And for 3.0, there's much more work to be done. There is a lot more, let's say, in-depth works and changes going on. So we are pretty much moving the code base to ES6, which is major change. Maybe if time permitting or other factors permitting, even move it all the way to TypeScript. But if not, then that will be something for later releases. Okay, but yeah, that's slowly progressing, and I will be cooperating with Meteor software to make sure that we have everything is working fine and we are ready to release it properly when the time comes. As for when, really, the Blaze 2.6.2 is dependent on the fixes of the bugs that were reported there. So that might be sometime during December or maybe in January, then depending on those two things. With Blaze 3.0, unless we suddenly have a spike of activity, I'm seeing that earliest March next year. So, but if there is something that you kind of like wanted to contribute to Blaze or want to take on something, please do. All the contributions are welcome. I'm mostly doing maintainer stuff in Blaze, and Jan is doing a lot of the development because he's using that for his work, together with a few others. So I'm there just mostly as a support in that regard. Okay. So Andreas kind of started hitting on it, but the next topic is regarding simple schema issue. So if I remember correctly, how this went with simple schema. Let me get it in here. So what happened here with simple schema? Oh man, about 4 years back or so, the version 2 has become an npm package. So people migrate to the npm package, and recently version 3 of the npm package was released, but it has a little bit of a issue that it's no longer compatible with Meteor. For me personally, that affected at least my work was that the regex part, so it was simple schema.regex. For example, ID has been removed, so you have to kind of rebuild the regex yourself. So that's not a big issue on its own. And let's actually find it exactly, the change log. But there we go, 3.2. So let's jump here. Releases. So this is sadly not. Let's see if we have it here. So here it is. Some of the breaking changes. So as I mentioned, the simple schema regex has been removed. That's kind of first big hit for Meteor support. But the bigger one, especially if you are using auto forms and translation, all that stuff, is the message box. And similar dependency has been removed as well. So that's going to break a lot of code. So anything related to that has been removed. And then, of course, Meteor Tracker. So those three are, I would say, the biggest breaking changes. With simple schema regex, that's something that you can deal easily in your application. It's no big problem, but message box and tracker, especially for many packages, is an issue. So me and Jan were discussing what to do with this, and pretty much right now our battle plan is that we are going to either take over the original Atmosphere package for simple schema and pretty much have that as a container around the npm package and build back in the functionality that we need for Meteor to continue working fine, and maybe have some easing out of these two, or at least when it comes to message box, because we kind of want the Meteor Tracker compatibility to remain. So that's kind of the battle plan, and we'll have to do more work and investigation. Obviously, if anybody wants to volunteer and help us with this task, that would be really very much appreciated, because as you can see, we are quite understaffed in all of these issues. So that's so Tom has likes about the new message box. I think with these old packages, it's probably using the old version. So that would also be another thing once we start taking over. First thing is to make sure it works at the minimum basis, and then of course start upgrading. So now I see Bjorn is volunteering. So let me actually do here assignments. Let's see, and are you? Probably not, but if you want, the best thing, to kind of volunteer for this, if you go to our Meteor Community Packages organization, the organization repository, and under issues, you can kind of add a comment that you want to volunteer, and then I'll be happy to then we can start coordinating from there. Let me just take this issue and post the link here, so I don't have to go finding it. All right. Next big issue that's been kind of plaguing us for a while is Meteor Desktop. And what we need to do there is pretty much upgrade it to the latest version, because right now we are quite severely behind. Part of that is because the Electron is constantly releasing newer, major versions quite constantly, quite often. So that's a bit of a problem. And right now, I think we are, if I remember correctly, on the one that it's on node 14. So it's still quite a lot behind. And part of the problem with that is it doesn't work with the latest Mac M1 processors. So which I encountered as well as an issue. So that's something on my radar. That's actually my right now second priority in open source. It's on my list. I wish I have gotten on to it already, but I will try to hopefully get to it as soon as possible. If anybody is knowledgeable with Electron, then definitely I would like to kind of rope you into this to get this up and running as much as possible. Because for me it's very superficial understanding of things, and I'm just starting to get into it, and even the process that we inherited and everything is I'm still lacking in knowledge. So that's when it comes to Meteor Desktop. And the big one, and I think so that's a comment from Andreas West, doesn't have, but yes, if you don't have a new Mac, then yeah, you're fine with this. But Andreas, if you maybe can contact your former front-end developer, if he might be interested in giving us a hand in upgrading Electron, that would be great. Because if there's somebody who has more knowledge about the particular technology, about the issue, they will be able to move much faster than I'll ever be. So that's going to play a very important role of getting this out quickly. Otherwise, I will just it's going to happen, but it's going to take a time unless I run into such a big knowledge and experience difference that I cannot surpass. Then that might be our stopping gap. Kind of big thing to remember here. I'm mostly, in most of these cases, I'm acting as a maintainer because that's kind of something that I personally enjoy. With some packages, I'm more of an active developer, but it's more of the rarity. And the main reason why I do Meteor is because I like to build the apps with Meteor. I don't like that much to go kind of deeper into the code. I like to build apps, and that's what I'm trying to do right now as well. So yeah, we need more people who like to go deeper in the code. Okay, the big elephant in the room is the async await migration. That's kind of the third on just a bit back with Thomas. Yes, right now you cannot upgrade to Simple Schema 3.2, the NPM package, because of the incompatibility with Meteor, and that was already discussed here. Message box is gone. Meteor tracker injections are gone. Simple schema rejects is gone. So these three are going to make it pretty much impossible without, if you're not using message box or injecting Meteor tracker somewhere else, which I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to look again. That's more thing to investigate on as well. So, but at the bare minimum, if you are using simple schema that rejects anywhere in your code, that's going to throw and a couple of other things. So that's something that we'll have to work on. Okay, back to the point. So we have enough time to more discussion. Is the async await migration? That's the third task on my list. And that's pretty much means that with collection 2 and pretty much anything at this point that calls the database, we kind of need to move to the async await. So that's something that affects a lot of packages, and as Meteor migrates aways from futures towards the async await, it will affect even more packages. So that is a big task, which again I want to appeal to everybody who uses this package. If you have some time, to kind of start looking and maybe submitting pull requests to utilize underneath the new async await method calls. How this is going to work, we are going to got a new feature version once we have some of these transferred. That is going to set the API minimum version from and at least Meteor 2.8 or whatever the version minimum is needed for the new API calls that were implemented. So this way, there is no major breaking change, but with the minimum versions from, we take advantage that only people who have the latest Meteor with the necessary APIs or method calls available can use it. And eventually, of course, once Meteor 3.0 rolls around, then we'll be releasing major versions probably for all of the packages that are affected by this, that will then be tagged to the latest Meteor 3.0 or however it's going to pan out. So that is kind of the plan with the migration. The plan is to kind of migrate all of these packages as as you know, the PRs come in and as our manpower and time allows. So feel free to go to any of the community packages and start hacking on those. And I would be happy to, do releases. And it doesn't have to be, that you have to submit like a big PR with everything in it. It can just be moving one call to the new paradigm. Okay. So that's kind of the big overview. Let me know if you want to talk about a specific package so that we can cover it. Okay, give you a few moments if you want to either raise your hand or write in the chat. The next one comes from Alan Contreras. I have a domain called MeteorJS.community. And if you try to open it right now, you just get a blank page with nothing on it. And if we go to GitHub, the Meteor Community Packages /website, there's actually a code, and I was using this. I was kind of using the original setup that was used for the docs, Meteor docs and guide and all that stuff. And at some point, it broke because it had this automated build that is from source, and then build it into master, and master is one that's applied to the website. So something broke on there, and I just hadn't had time since then to take a look on it. So it's broken, which obviously is not good because this this is a page that's kind of crossroads through all the projects and everything happening and all the other Meteor-related stuff. So that needs to be fixed. And it's just a matter of time. But on Wednesday, I will be taking a night train. So unless I'm too exhausted or something like that, I think I'm going to take an hour or two to rebuild the website. And I'm thinking of moving from the original Hexo, which has been, I just was pulling my hairs with it, to I think it's called Docusaurus, which kind of is the new thing for documentation related stuff and static things. I think it's also by Facebook, or there's kind of a lot of stuff around it, and it has all the things that we need. Part of it is what I want to do with this is make sure that it's localized, so you can access it, in English, Japanese, Czech, German, any other languages that people will volunteer to do. So as to be as much accessible, and maybe from that to grow the website further than just being a crossroad, but to have much more interesting information and guides available. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because right now it's just a static web page, mostly as a crossroad, maybe later on a bit more. But my ultimate goal in the future, and it's getting more and more delayed, is for this website to be a Meteor application, which besides the crossroad functionality, will of course have the Meteor login, and there was going to be a bit more functionality behind it. Part of that is I want to also host on it the Meteor community survey to make it more longer running and much more engaging. And there's a lot of stuff that we can do here. but that requires a lot of development time, at least compared to just getting out the DocuSign site. So I think I could probably get the DocuSign site in a couple of hours up and running. The problem is I'll have probably the longest part is going to take is going to be tweaking the theme, because let's see, if we look already here, let's see, this would be trends. Oh wait, sorry, never mind. The index news projects. The content is already written. We'll just need a bit of updating. But so the biggest time I'm probably going to be is tweaking out the theme to make sure it looks more Meteor-like than DocuSign-like. Which was the benefit of the original Hexo page, that I just reused the official Meteor theme that's used for the guide and the docs. Okay, so we are kind of moving on to the open forums. So Thomas has here a question about the async await migration, or two of them. Any packages not under the community, we will need to fork them to refactor using async, right? Maybe. That's a big maybe. That really depends on if the package is maintained, then the maintainers are going to take care of it, hopefully. If not, you can nudge them in the right direction or offer pull requests to them, and that's going to make it through their pipelines to have it. If those packages are not maintained, then the best thing is to go to the organization repository, create an issue, get the discussion started, what we should do with those packages. And some of them will be forked. Some of them, maybe we can get hold of the original creators and have them transfer all the rights to those packages to us, which would be the best, because then that's a straight option for upgrading, which is going to be something that also we have to add to our community website, which is kind of the guides to going from the old packages that are no longer maintained and switching to the new ones. So the next, this async await migration is my biggest worry. Would love to see how you handle this on a simple package to have some ideas and know where to start with our huge code base. Thomas, the only one, everybody's worried, especially, with the huge code bases and everything. The good thing is right now it's optional. And for that, I would recommend doing the incremental approach. Whenever you're doing a new feature, use, of course, the new API. If you are kind of making some changes, adjustment to existing feature, also during that, upgrade the calls, that to the new API to try to test it out. So kind of this incremental approach, and this is what beauty of Meteor, that the 2.8 plus series is all about adding these new calls and preparing that. So when 3.0 comes in and there is a cutoff of the old way no longer working, you should have hopefully everything ready, or you can at least still run on the 2.x series of Meteor and migrate it to the new async calls. And then once you're ready, upgrade to Meteor 3. What we are doing now is using call async instead of call. Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Same thing with find async, and there's this kind of like the basic that came in 2.8. In 2.9 we have more of those, especially for Meteor accounts functions, and for example for email. So there's going to be email.send async and stuff like that. So it's going to extend to pretty much all the calls that we kind of use to be synchronous to become async. And the same thing also applies for the community packages. And this is another thing I would kind of or which we'll have to kind of make happen in the same way. So internally, if we call the new function to make sure that it's all async await and all that stuff. And I think at the same time, if we have some external calls, we also need to make that, or external API that's consumed by the packet, by the application from the package. We need to also make these, the old and new. So we also have to kind of do the async naming and calls in those as well for compatibility reasons. Or hopefully, if we can make it so that that doesn't need to happen, we can all handle it internally, that would be the best scenario. But that really depends. In some cases it will be possible. In other ones, especially that follow the classical, call patterns or related to the database, stuff like that, that might not be possible. Okay, so now open forum. So if you have any comments, questions, either write them out or use the Zoom function to raise your hands. I'll be happy to allow you to talk to me directly. So, which is much more faster than typing it out. Another thing which might have, I kind of want to kind of highlight here is that well, about 2 or 3 months ago, we've also kind of semi got under our control Redis uplog and Grapher. So if we, so that's this the big one, the actual Redis uplog and Grapher. What I mean by semi-control is that it's still under the Code of Coders organizations. But as you can see, I have gotten the right to merge pull requests and release new versions. So that's what I'm kind of working on as well. Let's see, there's a lot of, so Grapher 1.5 is in development. And let's see where we are with, yes, so with Redis uplog, we are 2.2.0 version in development. So well, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have some extra time to go in and to check on the pull requests, merge them, and cut a new version. And yeah, so that will be, I think, another big one. And again, part of that, part of why I say partial is that there's still some, since it's under their organization, there are some restriction in regards to how much I can commit or merge. So it's not ideal since I don't have a full control over the repository. But at least these can be updated and adjusted as we need to, so that they can keep on working. Another question from Thomas: will Blaze and subscription reactivity work without migrating after 2.9 and 3.0? Blaze and subscription are still going to work definitely in 2.9, because in 2.9 it's still pretty much the same Meteor. There's the option of the new async await, and like even now reactivity is working fine with that approach. So that will not change in 3.0 unless there is something that I don't know about, which is possible, because as I said, I'm mostly a maintainer and I love Meteor, and what I do with Meteor most of the time is develop the end applications. So don't take this as a gospel, but right now, as I know, this is how it's going to be. Server-side code inside publication should be migrated to find async, right? Yes, that's exactly how it should be. If you go to guide meteor.com, and there's migration to Meteor 2.8 section. So if you go on that, then that's for the 2.8 migration, and in here they explain how to migrate, where to migrate what, and how it should work, and all of that jazz in very much detail. And that's going to continue with 2.9, 2.10, and all the other versions that are up and coming. So, and that's gonna, since it's like, one big thing at a time, that allows you kind of to do the, migration, not a huge thing that you have to worry about constantly or looking to do at once, but you can slowly build up to the full migration. All right, so if nobody has any questions or anything like that, or doesn't want to talk, that will be it. We'll be doing next one. So it's December, so let's check the calendar. So it will be in January. And the first Friday, first Friday, so it will be January 6th. I actually go back here to the agenda. It's already available here, Friday, January 6th. That's when the next meeting is going to be. And for this one, as I'm showing right now on the screen, is that the agenda was or is still on the forums, and the same thing is going to happen for the next one. I'm going to create a new forum topic in a couple of weeks to solicit entries for what should be on the agenda. It's probably going to be mostly the same, kind of status updates on where we are, how much we progressed. Now that we've started kind of having these meetings, I will be also much more closely tracking any releases and other updates that we do in our repositories, so that this isn't just discussing about the issue, but also report what has been done over the past month. All right. Let me go back to the chat for last check. Okay, so let me stop sharing if that's going to work, or if Zoom. Okay, made it possible. Zoom finally work. All right, so that's it from me. Just last check if anybody wants to talk. I'll give you a few moments. So what is the most effective way to sponsor my work? I have a GitHub sponsors page. And let me get you the link, maybe. So that's kind of the most direct way you can sponsor me. Or if you look on many of those repositories, it's not just me, but also the other maintainers. They have links to ways to sponsor people. And okay, here we go. Let me put that in. So github.com/sponsor/story$CZ. And but I have also a lot of other things so that you can also get that you can find sort of like affiliate links, mostly for stuff that I use, or that's actually with some of them it's you get something from it. I don't really get anything, so stuff like that. But in some cases, it's reciprocal. So that's kind of for my sponsorship and help. But you can, as I said, check on the individual repositories for projects you like, because sometimes there's more maintainers than just me, so you can also sponsor them as well. And Kuster as well has, I think he recently got his GitHub sponsorship working as well. Let me check. But I first need to find his profile somewhere. Yes, he got his sponsorship page up as well. So I put that in, and so that's sponsorship, and his nickname is Jan Kapunkt. So you can sponsor him as well. But again, check on the different repositories. Those are kind of the best indicators, because they offer different options for the different maintainers. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, so for the Open Collective, that one is right now inactive. I think I'm not exactly sure. I think we could probably get access to that to it, but and we'll probably do actually, yes, we do. I remember talking, well, not exactly with Mitar, but and Fred is also an admin, so we'll be, we can probably get access to that. So if you want to contribute to Blaze like that, we are currently not using any money from it, but we might in the near future probably do it in order to maybe hopefully pay for somebody to go in and do more stuff in Blaze. So that's also possible, but right now, as Meteor Community Packages, we are not actively using that, because that will be then specifically used for specific work or expenses related to Blaze. Okay, I think I've rambled for long enough. And just last check, no hands up. So thank you very much for being here. Again, if you want to sponsor me, you can do so on my GitHub sponsor page, link in the comments. And I'll see you in a month, or maybe I'll be making another stream, but that's just my personal business sooner. Okay, thank you very much, and yeah, at least see you in a month. Bye.